Nardolillo finds herself wide open behind the three-point line, just stepping in, knocking it down. And to go that long, see Nardolillo finishing through contact. Fantastic pass. And Rhode Island College is feeling.
People that are listening to us on the podcasting sites, thanks so much. Subscribe, like, share. Radio people, we appreciate you. Tell your friends and your family. We have another special guest from the RIC women's basketball team. If you're up in Rhode Island or even in the Northeast in general, you want to watch some good women's basketball. I'm talking to the men too. I know the men, some of the men I know are afraid to go to women's games. They say it's too slow and all that other crap. Regardless of that, check it out. There was a great women's Final Four, and this team that we've talked to on here was in the Division III Final Four. Rhode Island College, anchor woman basketball. Angelina Nardolillo, number 12. She's going to be a junior this year. She's kicking ass and taking no prisoners up at RIC. We're grateful to have you on, and we look forward to having you on, you know, as far as the season goes on. It's summer, but we're going to keep this going.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Right, so let's kick this around. You know, I just want you to tell the viewers that don't know you a little bit about your basketball journey growing up, Angelina.
All right. I started playing basketball in 4th grade. I was kind of just thrown into it because my mom was like, I don't want you to be a cheerleader. I want you to play basketball. I didn't really like basketball until I hit middle school because I wasn't good at it. I had never watched a game, never thought of looking up YouTube videos or anything to get better. So I just played to play. After 6th grade, 7th grade, I think I joined an AAU team. That's when I started falling in love with it. My 8th grade year, we have a really small school, so I was brought up to varsity, and we made it all the way to the Final Four in our state. My freshman year, we won the second state championship that our school has ever gotten, and I had scored 16 out of 32 of the points. It was a really low scoring game, defense, the only baskets that went in were the baskets that were shot and made. And then my sophomore year, we made it back to the state championship game. We ended up losing, but I scored my 1,000 points my sophomore year of high school in the second round playoff game before the Final Four. Junior year, I ended up transferring to Northfield Mount Herman, which is a private school. I went there for 1 year. That was COVID year. That kind of messed everything up. I started every game at Northfield Mount Herman, played most of the games. But then after COVID hit, I didn't really want to pay to stay on campus because I commuted. I only lived 10 minutes away. So my senior year, I ended up returning back to Hinsdale, my public school, and we won our second state championship. And after that, committed to Rhode Island College. I didn't start for the first quarter of the season, but I ended up earning a starting spot. We won the LECs. We made it to the first round. Didn't go what we expected, but I think that was a fuel to where we were at this year. Then I got Rookie of the Year, second team All-State, and sophomore year was another great year. Final Four run, LEC championship, second team. I got some other awards that I wasn't aware of. I ended up getting a award from the NCAA, being one of 5 picked from the Final Four teams as an all-team selection.
I just want to tap on this just to kind of put the exclamation point on that answer. Do you feel like no COVID? Let's just throw that out. We all wish that didn't happen, but let's throw that out and make believe that didn't happen. Would you have stayed at Mount Herman and also kept playing basketball there? And do you think that would have changed your trajectory as far as playing college women's basketball at a different school besides RIC? Excuse me.
I've been asked this question, and if you would have asked me back when I was a junior, I wouldn't have been mentally able to say yes, because it was a very, very hard switch for me. But looking back at it now, if I had the same mindset I had now, I would have been able to stick through another year and possibly 2, because I am very young for my grade. I I should have been a year before. If I would have stayed in Rhode Island, I would have been a grade younger, but New Hampshire's cutoff was different. So I potentially would have done 1 or 2 more years there. I knew I didn't want to play Division 1 when I got there. I said it's way too much time. It's way too much time. I want that student athlete and like social balance. So I said maybe a Division 2 where I can get some scholarship, still be able to have nice facilities or something. So I was aiming for a Division 2, but I really wasn't like put under a big radar because of where I was from. Like I should have been put under a radar my freshman, sophomore year versus late junior year. I was put on this radar where most 1s and 2s rosters are being filled up by then, or their prospects are being filled up. But if I would have stayed, maybe a Division 2 I would have been hoping for, but I'm really happy with my choice. And regardless, I probably would have looked at RIC anyway because I wanted to go back down to Rhode Island, but I'm super happy that I found the school and that I picked it out.
You were born in Rhode Island. Is that why you wanted to come back, or you were looking at coming back regardless?
Yeah, I was born in Rhode Island, and one of my best friends lives down there. That he actually moved up to New Hampshire and then ended up moving back down to Rhode Island. And I was like, you want to know what? My initial plan was to go down south for college. I wanted to go either Virginia Beach, maybe a JUCO, or go down to Florida. I had like a school in Hawaii that like I just wanted to get away, but COVID messed that all up because I was like, I'm not going to pay for the flights. I'm not going to drive. And I'm like, I don't want to be stuck in a state if the state goes on lockdown again and not being able to get back to my family in case anything else happens. So I was like, I want something where I can drive. I know the area. I love the area. It's not a huge like city, but it's a small city. And you still have the beach that's 45 minutes away. You can go to the woods. You can go hiking and do whatever. So it's just basically location based. And yeah, I didn't want to make the trek, and my parents can come to my games because we play 2 games in New Hampshire, 1 game in Vermont, a couple in Mass that are all within 2 hours. So it was very important for my family to see my games because if I would have went down south, they wouldn't have been able to support me like what they do now.
Right. And there's a lot to support there. Not just you, but the whole team in general is pretty phenomenal. And it seems like the wins will keep going as the years dwindle on. But let's kick this around. Let's talk about the New Hampshire basketball atmosphere. I don't know much about the atmosphere in New Hampshire. Is it a big basketball atmosphere or no?
It's up and coming. I think my like sophomore, junior year, that's when like it started kicking in, but it's really on the opposite side of the state, like near Massachusetts, near the coast, like on the right side of the state versus the left side, because where I am, there's like nothing around. But even my 8th grade year and my freshman year, our division, even though it was 4, was really strong. And there was several girls that were going into college, some D2s, D3s that were coming out of our Division 4, but our division did get weaker as I was like getting into my senior year. It was pretty weak and we were just a powerhouse in the division. But now I see like Division 3, Division 2, and even Division 1 being like pretty elite levels. And some of my friends, like I have a couple, one just committed to Purdue. People are getting offers from UNH. And I know a lot of people that are also going prep too now because basketball is taking a turn and more people are coming up to New Hampshire because we have amazing facilities on the coast. We have like 4 or 5 gyms within like 20 miles of each other. So there's huge tournaments that are in New Hampshire all the time. So it's definitely getting a lot bigger and people at younger ages are starting to train harder and train more. So I think we're going to see in the next like 4 or 5 years a shift in the basketball, but I think it's on upcoming in New Hampshire.
So you kind of touched on why you chose RIC. Obviously the family, your friends, and having people come to your games that were your family and are your family, I should say. But with that said, can you talk about like that biggest adjustment of playing in AAU, playing in prep, playing in high school, and then moving to Rhode Island to play in that, Little East Conference in Division 3?
My biggest struggle was probably understanding the defense. You could ask my coach. Even now, like I can admit I'm not the best at defense. But Coach runs a specific defense and she wants it run a specific way. So my high school, we would play a 2-3 zone because we had me being 6 foot and we had some other girls that were 5'10". We play 2-3 zone. Nobody's going to drive on us. AAU, we did a lot of like trapping zones, full court, which we don't do as many like trapping zones in college. We're just starting to do it. Like we threw some in last season where we do a 2-2-1, or we do like even like 3/4 of the way 2-2-1. And that's the style of basketball I like to play because it's really fast and that's when people can transition and make defenses. But the man-to-man was a lot harder for me to understand than in high school and college. So that was definitely the biggest adjustment that I had to make and the biggest difference. And also like a lot of teams will play 2-3 zone against us because we have so many threats. We have 2 down low threats and we have 3 outside threats, and people will just go in a zone. But we've beat mostly every single zone that we've seen. So
can you talk about your game has evolved? I know you said you're working on your defense. It's a totally different defense than you played in high school in the past in general. But how has your game evolved? Are you shooting more jump shots? Are you driving to the hole more? Are you playing more post ball? What's going on different? Go ahead.
In high school, it was a joke for me to shoot a 3. I would only shoot a 3 if we were up by like 25, 30. I'd probably airball it. Like, I don't think I started making 3s until my senior year, and I maybe only shot and made 3 of them. That's it. And then my freshman year, I was given more of the green light because coach said I have a beautiful shot. I can do it. In high school, I feel like I shot a little bit more mid-range, but I feel like I also I didn't have the defense that there is in college. So the mid-range is a little bit tougher, especially when teams are playing a zone and I can't really shoot from the foul line when there's 2 or 3 people there. But this past year, I started driving more, shooting more, getting more comfortable. And then this summer, going into next year, it's going to be driving. My back to the basket game hasn't changed. I've had the same moves since I was in 9th grade. I just got faster and better at them. That's what it is. And sometimes I do stuff and I don't even know how I did it, but it just happens. It just feels right in the moment. So next year, looking forward more of driving and shooting because I have the mid-range, I have the back to the basket, just adding stuff because I'm going to be heavily guarded next year.
So you're more of that kind of triple threat where you can go out and shoot it from mid-range, shoot the 3, and also bang in the post then, correct?
Yeah, Coach gives me the green light to shoot from anywhere. And I'd like to say in practice, I shoot a lot more 3s than I do in a game, but I also think that's just game time decisions. And I know that in practice, that's not going to be a shot that could be a potential game toss over. So in practice, I do create a lot more than in games, but I'm working on bringing the practice moves into a game and not feeling like hesitant about it or like, oh my God, I don't want to mess up and like do it. But yeah.
I just want to jump into some audience questions. Again, Angelina Nardolillo, she's number 12 on Rhode Island College women's basketball team, the anchor woman over here, and they went to the Final Four last year. I should say this past season, because we're still in the same year. So, but regardless of that, hitting some audience questions. I know through watching some of your games online, there was very good passing from everyone. It seems like the teamwork there and everyone is fairly a good passer. Is that something that's pushed by Coach Cosgrove, or that's something that everybody was always somewhat of a good passer in general coming in?
Honestly, we get yelled at for some of the passes we make. Especially in practice, we're a lot more. We let things go that would barely slide if we messed up on it, but a lot of the passes is just how our team plays and how we've always played, and we know who can create what. Like Maddie, Janaya, they can make passes to me, they know I'm gonna catch, and some behind the back. I just think it's part of everybody's game because even as a post player, I pass out to the 3-point a lot, and sometimes coaches are like, whoa, how did that even get there? Or maybe we shouldn't do that, but it gets there. And we all just hoop.
All right, we're going to go through this as kind of one more question before we hit that lightning round. This is going to be a tough one for you, somewhat tough. talking about, Coach Cosgrove, and you touched on her a little bit. Can you talk about her in general and the positives and negatives of playing for her? And don't just sugarcoat this, please.
She pushes every single one of us to be the best player we can potentially be. And she knows what we're capable of, and she knows when we're not giving it our 100, and she'll call us out on it. There's some days in practice where I want to walk out of the gym because she won't stop saying my name. And that's 100. And she knows I show all my emotions when I play. I show my emotions when I'm pissed off. I show my emotions when I'm happy. So she knows that too. And sometimes she'll get on me the days that I show more emotion, but it's really just to make me mentally tougher, because if she didn't get on me, I wouldn't have been able to play in the tournament the way I did, because the tournament was a whole different type of pressure. Emotions are high. You have the crowds, you have the players on the court arguing with each other, but overall, she's an absolutely amazing coach, and she only does what's best for us. I might complain, like getting up early 3 days a week, like having to run at 5:45 in the morning. I may be like, oh my God, I never want to do this, but it all works out in the end. So I have a lot of trust in her, and I appreciate her as a coach, and all of our coaching staff too. We have an amazing coaching staff. Every single one of them has so much dedication to us and always is making sure that we're on the right track. And if we want to get extra work in, they all want us to do better.
When we had the team on, as far as Janaya and Maddie on in the past interview, you talked a little bit about next year, but I just want to dabble on with this one question here. We speak about recruiting for next year. Do you know any of these girls that are coming in? And with that said, if you could talk about them, if you have any knowledge on.
Yeah, I met a couple of the girls. I'm not like too close with some of the girls, but I've seen a couple of them play. I know Jackie, she's a freshman. She played with us in preseason last year for like one night just to see how it was. She's going to be a really good key to our team. She's definitely going to come in and help us this year. She's
what position is she?
Athletic. I don't want to be wrong, but I think she's a 3.
Okay.
But I know that she's like a guard type person. She's going to do really well. We're getting another post, a transfer from CCRI. Hopefully her and I will be competing all year. I've heard that there's another pretty good like guard coming in that's going to bring in some experience. But
so it's kind of light on the recruiting, Angelina, then, because everybody's fairly much coming back.
Yeah, we didn't lose, like we lost a good like what they bring to the team, but we still have a lot of bodies. We have like over 16 bodies already. It's not like we're losing 7 people at once.
How many people do you carry?
I think last year we had 15, but this year we have more. This is her biggest roster she's had. Oh, and Soph is coming back. Soph played a year before me. She's going to be an amazing addition to the team, and she's going to bring a sense of leadership and a sense of urgency and dedication to the team that we could be lacking.
Let's end with these questions quickly. What are you up to this summer, as the summer is dwindling down, unfortunately?
4th of July weekend's coming up, so I'm going to be going down the shore, hanging out with some friends, and then I'm going to be going on a cruise in July. So that's going to be an 8-day cruise and just training.
You've been balling, though. You've been playing, right?
Yeah, I play in a summer league with Jada Bing.
Is that in Rhode Island, or is that in New Hampshire, or where's that at?
New Jersey.
New Jersey? Okay, fair enough. So what are you excited about for next season?
Just playing with all my girls. I mean, even in the summer league I play in now, it's not the same as playing with my team and playing with my girls. Like we're family now, and it's super weird not to play without them. It feels like I'm cheating on them now that I'm playing on another team.
All right. Favorite music?
Rap, hip hop, R&B. I kind of like everything.
Yeah. Even 80s and 90s?
80s, 90s, R&B. That's yes.
All right. I listen to a little Usher sometimes, the old stuff, not his new stuff. Anyways, what about movies?
I love horror movies.
All right.
Horror movies, like documentaries, thrillers.
Hopefully not at nighttime.
Oh, all the time at nighttime.
Really? Okay. Good for you. I wouldn't be able to sleep, but okay. What's your favorite song? We got that question.
My favorite song.
That's a tough one for most people, so
It is tough.
can be old, new. How about favorite artist? Maybe that's a better way to play this out.
My favorite artist is A Boogie. He's a rapper.
Yeah.
But I really have a pretty wide music taste. I don't really have a favorite song.
All right, fair enough. So if people want to follow you on social media, Instagram, I don't know. No one really uses Facebook, but I guess I'll say it just for kicks. But we'll just say Instagram or Twitter. Are you on any of those social media?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram and Twitter. It's just Angelina Nardolillo, and then on Twitter it's Angelina Nards.
Last question. What's behind you with that trophy? It looks like, is that yours or is that
Yeah.
Right.
My we all got these personal little trophies for the Final Four.
Right.
And I mean it's pretty big. It's about the size of my head, but we got this one and then we got the big one for our team. So
all right, fair enough. Well, listen. That trophy means something to you. It means something to the team in general. And we hope that more success happens as the years come down for you. And you got 2 more years left. And we hope that there's more success. So Angelina Nardolillo, number 12, RIC Women's Basketball. That's Rhode Island College for people that are listening to us around the country. Definitely check them out. Angelina, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it.